with Andy Mai here. So you are a seven-figure e-commerce entrepreneur, and I think it's not only right, but I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs, once they develop a skill, once they master it, they help others along the way, and that's what you're doing now, right? So before we even talk about how you got into helping people out in their online businesses, tell us about your entrepreneurship journey and how you got into e-commerce.
Awesome. So I started roughly 3 years ago. That's when I started getting into drop shipping specifically. But anyway, starting at 12 years old, I had like experience. Like I played this game called Maple Story. It was like this RPG, MMORPG. People would grind and level up, and I was just spending all day in the FM, the free market, and I learned trading. I was just flipping items within the game. So I actually started not sort of that's how I started. Like I was, 12 years old. I just wanted to make money in game. I didn't, play the game like other people. I wasn't like grinding and killing monsters. I was just like trying to make money in the game. And then eventually I started playing Counter-Strike Go, and I started downloading Steam, and Steam has its own marketplace. Then I started flipping skins. So in Cisco, you have skins, you have knives that are worth, $50, $20, $100. And I started flipping knives, and I went from zero, and I ended up having like an inventory worth like 500 USD. And I was like, damn, like, why can't I take, eventually I actually got scammed. And so I took all my items, so I hacked my account, and that sucked. But eventually going to school, I came from, low income household. Everyone in my class, they always had the coolest pencil cases, the Nike shoes, the hoodies. They always had branded stuff. They had the Blackberries back in the day, and I had like a brick Nokia phone. And I wanted to be able to have nice clothing and wear what others were wearing. So like, why can't I go ahead and if I was able to flip a 10-cent skin into like $100 knife skin, why can't I do the same with clothing? So I then started buying sort of Air Forces for like $40, flipping it for 70, buying Nike windbreaker jackets for 50, flipping it for 100, buying a North Face jacket for like 75, flipping it for 200. And I eventually started flipping Supreme, Palace Vape, Yeezys, Louis Vuitton, Gucci wallets. And then I started learning how to flip clothing. And then roughly when I sort of turned 18, I was doing that from 16 to 18 pretty hard. And I was able to build up a collection of like $20,000 worth of like branded goods, designer clothing. And I was like, okay, what's the next level? Because this is getting pretty boring. Like I'm selling 1 or 2 items a day on eBay. I can't really scale it. What's the next step? So I'm on YouTube, how to make money at home, how to make money as a teenager, how to make money under 18. And back then there was these hot videos, 10 ways to make money 10 ways to make $100 a day under 18. These videos were super hot at the time. And I was like watching all of them, and drop shipping came up again and again and again. I was like, damn, drop shipping is coming up a lot. What is drop shipping? Looked into it. I was like, this model is pretty cool. With all those previous ventures, like I would learn about it, fail for a bit, but eventually I'll figure it out after 1 or 2 months. When I got into dropshipping, I was expecting the same thing. I was like, okay, I'm going to fail for 1 or 2 months. I'm just going to dive straight in. I'm not going to spend a lot of time research because I know I learn best. Just dive straight into it. But guess what? After 2 months, I was still failing. I couldn't figure it out. So I was at it for 6 whole months, testing 70 products until I found my first winning product. And that 6 months was probably the roughest. That was probably the toughest period because not only was I not making money, at the same time, I've worked at McDonald's, Kmart, and I was working as a swimming instructor while I was figuring out drop shipping. But that was like probably the toughest journey of my entrepreneurship journey, like 6 months failing every single day, having been able to do things in the past. And this was the first hard thing and I wasn't making money. And then when I cracked it, things just went uphill, and I guess the rest was history.
Now, wait, how did you test 70 different products in a matter of 6 months? What was your method there?
Got it. So I started like everyone testing like a product a week, testing random products from like fitness gear, had 2-3 different stores, was selling like Marvel stuff. And I was like, oh, damn, I can't do this. This is copyright. So I shut down my first store because it was selling copyright items. Sold fitness gear. That didn't work out. And then I was testing one product every week, one product every 3 or 4 days, one product every day. And at my peak, I was testing 5 products a day.
Wait, but these products, there weren't one product shops. You had, say, a fitness store, and in that fitness store, you had several products, right?
Exactly. I ran general stores.
Okay. I was going to say, I thought you created 60 different individual stores for each different product. Now, what
Yeah, that
was
would
it?
have been crazy, but unfortunately, I didn't do that.
Now, what was that point, that inflection point? Because you said after 6 months you're still failing. You thought that after 1 or 2 months you'd get it. You'll eventually figure it out. But you said it took you 6 months to eventually crack it. Now, what was it? Was it the copy, the ad creative, the product itself? What was it exactly that made you make money here?
The moment I started testing 5 products a day, that's when results started to come in. I started learning exponential, sales started coming in exponentially, and I really got into the rhythm of things and I built a really strict routine. That's when everything went uphill, when I started testing 5 products every single day.
Now, is that the name of dropshipping now? I mean, I don't know how it was back then, but what about now? Is it all about literally testing different products out? And is it a first come, first serve thing where once you find that product, say you find a winning product, maybe you're the very, very first one to do so, people start copying you. So is it really an incentive to be one of the first comers to find that product and then have everyone else play catch up?
Got it. So on that question, Facebook has gotten really good where if you're the first comer, you could scale it to the moon and have people struggle to get a piece of the pie. Back in the day, you could have like copied winning products. You could have went on Spy site and you could have tested that winning product and probably got a piece of the pie. But nowadays, doing that same strategy, the pie has gone really slim because Facebook has gone so good that when you catch traction, you're going to take 99% of the market because Facebook's AI is so strong that they're just going to feed you all the purchases.
Okay, so that's what happened to you. You found the winning product that no one else really had, and you had the majority of the pie because that's what Facebook did. That's what helped you out, right?
Exactly.
And what was that winning product? The very first one.
So, ooh, so the very first one was I was doing Instagram influencers, and it was a hair coloring wax. So it was a wax that was like purple, and you put in your hair, and your hair is now purple. That was one of my first winners.
Wait, so it made your hair turn purple?
Exactly. So it was a wax. You know how you'd use normal wax to like
Oh,
do your
okay,
hair,
yeah, yeah.
but it was colored wax.
Huh. So when you were testing different products out, did you have some sort of knowledge base on what the products were and how they can be applied? Or did you kind of did R&D and everything that you can find and see if there's a market for it?
So my formula at the time was I was testing new products I'd find on the news feed. So I was actually doing the piece of the pie method where I was looking for products that are currently working on my Facebook news feed. The rule was it had to have like roughly around at least 100,000 views, 5 comments in the last 12 hours. And if that product had 5 comments in the last 12 hours, that was one of the 5 products I was going to test that day.
Sheesh. So you were looking for that piece of the pie and not the whole pie. Okay.
Exactly. That's how I started.
Okay. So now, of course, people say the dynamics of not only e-commerce has changed, but Facebook ads as well. And what you can apply back then can't really be applied right now. So how have things changed since that 6 month crack of you figuring it out? How have things changed nowadays?
So when it comes to Facebook ads, the biggest thing that has changed is the narrow. Back then you would want to go narrow, you would want to flex target, but nowadays it's complete opposite. You want to go as broad as possible. Now when it comes to finding winning products, what I now do and what I teach my students to do is now we look for untapped winners. We're always looking to test new products every single day. We don't go as hard as 5 products a day. Our goal is just to test one product per day, and we want to look for new untapped winners rather than sort of try to build a one product store and sort of test a old saturated winner and fingers crossed it works. And if it doesn't, launch a whole new store. We just start with the general store. We can test one new product every day.
So are you saying that, say you went back to your 60 products with the knowledge you have now, is it for a fact that it's because it was untapped, or was it because maybe your e-commerce site, your Shopify site wasn't up to par, your ad creative maybe wasn't good, etc.? Or was it just the product itself, you think?
So the one that was the winner, like all the winners was all the product itself. Now,
Okay.
within the 60 product test, the reason why I tested so much was because within that learning curve, my ad copy got better, my creatives got
Mm,
better, my landing page got better, my photos got better. And that happened in the process of 60. So most likely, if I found the winning product on the first, and that was my very first product I tested, most likely it wouldn't have done well is because I didn't have the skill sets to make it successful.
yeah, I got it. So now that we said, or we're implementing here, that finding the winning product is arguably the most important thing for drop shipping, with a lot more people coming into the market, people are saying that it's becoming saturated. I don't know if that's true or not, but how do you compete with other e-commerce or drop shippers to find that one winning product?
Got it. So one, if you look at Google Trends, dropshipping peaked at 2017. It's actually much less competitive nowadays compared to back then. Two, Facebook has gotten a lot more data and their advertising has gotten way more stronger. Three, if you go to AliExpress, thousands of new products are being released every single day. So those are the three reasons why it's now's the best time to get into dropshipping.
So thousands of new products, like not the like unique products that we're talking about, right? Not just different colors, different sizes, unique products.
Exactly, because AliExpress, like for example, Amazon, AliExpress is most likely bigger than Amazon. It would be pretty like outrageous to think Amazon doesn't release 1,000 new products a day through all their different sort of FBA sort of people like me releasing products. Like Amazon is probably pumping out 1,000 new random products that haven't been on Amazon every single day. So AliExpress is doing at least 10,000 new products every single day.
Mm-hmm. And is there a moment, say you think that you found the winning product, is there maybe a metric that indicates that maybe we got something here? We're not going to say after you spend money on Facebook ads, after a day or so, you're going to see a jump or a huge spike in sales. Do you first see a little bump or a trend, some sort of metric that indicates, okay, maybe we have something here. Let's maybe readjust our landing page. Let's put more money into ads and really see if this works.
Got it. So to answer the first question, the metric you look at, so our strategy is we launch 6 ad sets, $5 each. We have strategy 1 where we pick 2 interests, and the strategy 2, which we pick 6 different interests. Either one works. Now, if day 1, roughly 4 to 6 of the 6 ad sets has gotten at least 1 purchase, you know you're onto something. And then the second question of what do you do when you find a winning product? So 1, we like to go ahead and launch more interests. 2, if we've gotten an ad set that's gotten 3 plus profitable purchases, we like to double the budget. And 3, we like to go ahead and add in reviews to the landing page and maybe buff out the description a bit.
So it's always important to test different ad sets, not just one or two, but see which one do basically A/B testing, 6 different ads, and pick the one that's right, and maybe even go double down on that.
So we actually, with the 6 ad sets we launched, the 6 ad sets split test 6 different interests, but we actually
Okay.
just use one creative for all those 6. But when you do scale, you do want to test other creatives. Now, there's like 2 train of thoughts. One, with every single product launch, you can test 3 different creatives versus doing 3 different product launches with 1 creative each. I'd prefer to test 3 different products with 1 creative each versus testing 1 product with 3 creatives.
Okay. And so once you crack the code here for drop shipping, um, did you kind of double down on that brand, on that business, or did you start creating more and more stores?
So I started just testing more on the general store. I built a team. That was the most important thing. Build a team where I could go ahead and test 5 products a day without me. That was like the next big pivot. And I learned that through like, there was these Tan brothers, Stephen Evertan. They've done like $300,000 days on drop shipping. Went to their mastermind. It cost like, I think 12 grand to spend 4 days in Phuket. And they taught me like the importance of building a team and like how they had 30 plus virtual assistants. And from that, I hired 3 or 4 virtual systems, and I was able to build the system where I was able to automatically launch 5 products a day.
Wait, let's go about that for a second. So you said you went to, was it a retreat to kind of learn about dropshipping here?
Yes.
Okay. And so, of course, when you first got into drop shipping, you said that you just dove right in. And after 1 or 2 months, you expected to crack the code, but it took you 6 months, right? And of course, over creating 60 or testing 60 different products, you've learned a lot. Your learning curve in terms of ad copy, Facebook ads, making the site just got better and better, right? But of course, you're saying here that you reinvested in yourself to scale your storage, right? So how important is it for, as an entrepreneur, as a drop shipper, to, once you're making money or once you're making progress, to really reinvest in your business and yourself?
Super duper important. So when I found my first winning product, that hair coloring wax we were talking about, it was working on Instagram. So I was like, how the hell do I get this to work on Facebook? Because I couldn't get it to work with lookalike audiences on my own. So I paid this person named Justin Roll. I think it was like several thousand at the time, and basically reinvested all my profits I made with those Instagram shoutouts back into this mentor, and I was back at zero. And guess what? One, the product died out on Instagram, and two, we couldn't get it to work on Facebook. So I was like back to zero, and there was another 3-month period where I was just trying to find my next winner that would work on Facebook, and I was going back into the negative. So within those 6 months, I went all the way down to negative $5,000. And I was tracking every dollar. And then when I found the hair coloring wax, it went back up to like, 2,000 in the green. Then it went down to like 1,000 negative because I paid the mentor. Then I went ahead and had to test more products and went down to like negative 3,000 in the red. But then eventually I found a winning product, and I was able to apply all the scaling knowledge I learned from Justin to take that product and brought me all the way to like 100,000 plus in the green in like a matter of like a few months.
And you said that Justin was the guy that told you about virtual assistant and creating a team, creating systems.
Justin was the one who taught me about lookalike audiences,
Okay.
scaling, manual bidding. So he was one of my first mentors. Then after Justin, I invested into the Steve and Evan Tan brothers mastermind, that weekend retreat. Then like after that, I wanted to go ahead and learn how to sort of get into consulting, teaching other people about dropshipping. So I don't know, do you know Omar Latta, the passionate few?
I think so. I think I've seen, yeah.
Yeah. So I invested in him. He had a pretty pricey mentorship as well, invested a lot of money into him. And he's the one who taught me how to sort of do consulting. He really taught me the value of my time. And yeah, so I've been just investing throughout the whole journey.
Yeah, I think a lot of entrepreneurs nowadays, at least that when you see on Instagram, that entrepreneurs didn't really reinvest their money back into themselves or the business, but they rather spend on luxury items. And I'm not saying that's bad, but I think the smart thing to do is that once you have the ball rolling, that's when you should really double down, reinvest in yourself and your business, and you'll see exponential growth here.
Exactly. And on that topic, like recently I made a big move. Right now it's still, it's actually nearly there. We're in the transition, but I bought studying.com.
You bought
Big
that domain name,
investment.
it's probably
Yeah.
thousands of dollars.
If you search it up, it redirects to my current funnel or my membership portal. So right now we're building out the main website, but like I'm reinvesting everything I got back into the business. And that was a huge investment. Like I could have gotten like super nice watches. I could have gotten like a nice supercar, but I want to reinvest back into the business always.
So you bought that domain name. What about the handles? So like Instagram handles, Facebook. Does it come with that as well, or do you have to purchase those independently?
So unfortunately, it only came with the domain name.
Okay.
Studying is there's this like this it's like some girl, and I reached out to her. I sent her a voice message. She hasn't replied, so I might reach out to like her boyfriend and see if
Hmm.
he can get back to me. But right now we got Studying Official on Instagram. Facebook, I have to lock down a handle on Facebook, but Facebook is starting to become less and less important. People don't really
Mm.
like worry about the Facebook handle. TikTok, I need, yeah, I need to look at, I think Studying is already taken on TikTok, but I'll see what I can do there.
Hmm.
But yeah,
I've heard stories. I forgot which business it was. I think it was on a how I built this podcast. But this guy really wanted a domain name, a specific domain name, and he actually traveled to the guy who owned it went to that state. I forgot what state it was, but he literally knocked on the guy's door, and the
I heard
domain
this
was like,
somewhere.
the domain, I think it was like $30,000, but the
And he
fact
got
that
it for free,
yeah,
right?
he got it for,
Yeah, I know this story. I've heard of it.
I
I
forgot
can't
what,
name who.
yeah, I
Yeah,
forgot what business it was, but if you go to those links, then sheesh, that's crazy. Wait, so why studying.com? It's around e-commerce, right? Of course, and drop shipping.
exactly. So my goal is not to like help people like do drop shipping. Like my goal is to help 1,000 people around the world. So right now, my goal for the next 2 to 3 years is to create 1,000 success stories from people all over the world. And eventually, I want to scale out of just teaching people drop shipping. I want to be able to teach people Facebook ads, sales, personal branding, YouTube
Mm,
ads. Teach people how to start a clothing brand, bring in other people. Like I want to be able to create a high-end Udemy. And
I
right now,
see.
we have our own custom developed membership portal that's just getting better every single day with all the data we're collecting. And that's sort of why I made the move to getstudying.com, as well as studying.com is like the last sort of domain available in the education niche. If you go to like study.com, learning.com, education.com, teaching.com, they're all held by companies. So like studying.com was the last domain that was just sat on. And one, it's the last one. And two, I could really sort of be the first one to teach other things than K to 12, math, science, English.
Wait, so are you trying to do, say, the entrepreneurship of Udemy or Khan Academy?
Exactly.
That's
And
it.
the definition of studying has changed in the last 6 months. Like literally a year ago, if you told someone, "Hey, are you studying?" They're like, "Yeah, I'm at the library right
Mhm.
now. I'm at my college campus, or I'm in like a lecture I'm listening." But if you told, "Hey, are you studying right now?" They're like, "Yeah, I'm at home watching a lecture." And then eventually, in 12 months' time, 24 months' time, studying would mean logging into some online portal, doing some Khan Academy thing, and where there's AI sort of feeding you these sort of courses that you're weak in. And like the definition of studying itself is changing over time.
Oh, for sure. And now this is a completely different business model because, I mean, of course, you can make your courses right through Teachable where they have the whole template for you. But now you're creating all these courses. You want to be under your name, under study.com. And now it's a kind of like a software as a system, different dynamic here. So, and of course, you have to hire developers, different team members. It can get very messy in terms of logistics. Now, what was that moment that you decided to take on this project? Because like your other side hustle when you were on a teen, selling branded goods, shirts and whatnot, you should have got bored of it. Now with drop shipping, it's just something that you are not really enjoying as much before and you wanted to do something else.
So dropshipping wasn't as fulfilling as helping people. And two, like I'm not going to be like super altruistic. Dropshipping is not as scalable as building an education company.
Okay, so you want to find something that can you can really scale here. But for drop shipping, you can't create an actual brand or maybe hit up an actual manufacturer and create systems there, create something more valid.
Yeah. Um, so one, in the last 3 years, I actually took 8 months out of my life to like move to America. I was living in San Francisco for 8 months, interning at this sort of startup, and they sort of made products. They did Kickstarter. They actually made and invented products that were brand new. Like all these drop shippers, they might private label items, get something that is like viral and put the label on it. But like I was working with Vincent and his team, they were making freaking products from scratch. And even him, what he learned is like, what's even better than selling? So the formula after he's tested like 20 different actual products where he would buy them in bulk. Um, and the formula that he distilled it down to was something that was lightweight, high perceived value, and low defect rate. And four, if lucky, subscription product. That was his formula. So what that came down to was tiny pocket knives that were high perceived value, very solid, that couldn't break much, and super cheap to ship. But what was even better was a digital product, something that was literally you could print on the internet. So even him, what I learned from that was like, if I really want to like take it to the next step, I'm just going to skip the whole making my own product route, making a clothing brand, make my own good, and just go straight to something that's like digital, because that's what's even better than a physical product.
Wait, so you went to work for a startup? So you moved from Sydney to San Francisco?
Yeah.
Well, what was the position? Did you go there to like just to work or to learn kind of behind the scenes and really work on your business here?
So what happened was, at that time, I had my YouTube channel. I was teaching people how to do drop shipping, and Vinny, one of the sort of employees of that company, was watching my YouTube videos. He was learning how to run Facebook ads through my YouTube. He had notes, he had booklets, he screenshot all my videos, and he reached out to me like, "Hey, we'd love to get you help with musicchess.com." And at the time, I thought it was like, a sales call. I thought I'm gonna close him and he can become a student, and I'll work one-on-one with him. But then we had a talk. He sort of introduced me to his founder, his boss, talked to his boss named Vincent, and they sort of basically invited me to sort of host me for 10 days in San Francisco and help them out with their music chess business. Flew over, 10 days became 30 days, 30 days became 60 days, 60 days became 8 months. And the reason why I didn't go for longer was I lost my visa. I was sent back to Australia because I wasn't breaking any rules. I was on a tourist visa. I wasn't working. I wasn't getting paid. And every 90 days, I'd fly to Sydney, fly back to reset the 90-day visa. And I would only spend a week in Australia and go back for another 90 days in America. And after doing that 3 times, they're like, dude, like you're spending more time in America than Australia. You can't do this. And they took away my visa. And that's why the 8 months got cut.
Now, what was that? I know you like to help people here, but what was your incentive of literally staying there for months and months without getting paid?
Learning.
Learning.
Education. Learning education. I learned about mindset. I learned about burnouts. I learned about how to have a team, how to have people in house, how to like treat interns, which was me myself, how to build products from scratch, how to film product videos, how to pack out items, how to print out like 50 labels a day. I learned all that in that 8-month period, and I had fun as well.
So you said there's 2 kind of systems here. Either one product was, you said, light, durable, sturdy. I forgot what the other one was, but then the system B was the digital product. And so you kind of, I feel that you could have gone to system A and created your own product from scratch. But I think, creating a digital product, an educational site seemed a lot more viable in your opinion, right?
Exactly. Like if Vincent, after 10 years of launching products, he started with like halo belts, these sort of massive belts that bicycle people would, do around their like things so they wouldn't get hit. And it'll be this massive tube packaging. And then like it got distilled all the way down to a little product. And now he wants to get into digital products. If he sort of spent 10 years to learn that process, I would be stupid to go ahead and launch a product and go through his 10. I just jumped straight. I was like, okay, that's what you learn in 10 years. Thank you. And I'm going to jump straight and I'm going to take what you learned and apply it. And I'm going to go straight to the digital product.
Mm-hmm. Because digital product is cool. And I was watching this YouTube video of like Shenzhen in China, and a lot of startups are going there because, if you're a startup in the US or in Europe, wherever, it can take you a long time in terms of the manufacturing process for your prototype to come. And of course, if you gotta do a prototype, market it, and then get feedback, and then wait for even more renovations to come to get that feedback loop, right? But if you're in China, if you're in Shenzhen, right next to the factory, right next to the supplier, and they have all these malls with these components, you can create these products almost instantaneously. And I feel that maybe a lot of dropshippers can have that initiative to literally moving out there and working on it. But if you have a digital product, you can work from anywhere in the world. And, information is king nowadays. We're living in the information age. So that's even a lot more viable nowadays.
And then just like thinking over why I went to a digital product, I think it's just ambition. Like I want to build $1 billion company. And in order to get there, I can't be taking one step at a time. I need to be taking 3, 4 steps at a time and exponentially go. Like right now, like I know that if I do want to scale worldwide, I'm going to somehow have to like get my course and just give it out for free. And like basically somehow make money on the back end, but be able to help hundreds of thousands of people all over the world and somehow figure a way to properly run ads and help people at the same time. And then when I make it free, get other people to start coming onto the platform and doing their own courses, and somehow have them be able to sort of release their courses for free, but have it like somehow by them releasing their course on studying.com, maybe they get a lot of leverage following, maybe they can have like a upsell, but basically create free education. Like I know that's the next step. And like even me just saying, I'm like maybe I need to start making my course free. But obviously, I just got the new membership portal. I just got the new domain. I'm going to probably keep it sort of paid for now, make it limited. But hopefully in the next 2 to 3 years time, I could get to that next level. And I'm always trying to just leap to the next level. Every time something gets comfortable, it's on to the next thing.
Mm-hmm. So what's your business model here? Because you said you want your company to be a $1 billion company, right? And you think selling courses alone would get you there?
No, I think like right now, I actually don't know what's going to get me to the billion, but I know that in order to get there, I need to make sure that this chapter of my life is as short as possible. Like by the age of 25 in the next 4 years, I need to like master this, whatever, all those things I just said. I need to get that done as fast as possible. And when I get to the end of it, like when I get to 24, 25, I'm going to know the next thing that's going to get me there. I can only see 2 to 3 years ahead of time. But what I can do is make sure that my goal of releasing the course and just allowing people to get access to it free worldwide, rather than sort of getting to that goal by 30, I need to get that goal by 25.
So all this content is going to be free?
That's the end goal.
And so you think that the goal here is to build the brand equity, to be so strong, to provide so much value that you eventually have your brand worth a lot of money, right? I mean, Khan Academy, it's a nonprofit organization, and I don't know how much it's worth, but I think it's a really, 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 it's a huge brand, obviously, and it can probably be worth hundreds of millions of dollars, if not $1 billion, and it's all free content.
Imagine if Khan Academy like ran paid traffic, advertised, worked with influencers. It would be like the McDonald's of education. Like imagine if they actually like ran marketing. That's what I want to do. I want to become the Khan Academy with marketing and somehow have some back end to break even on the marketing and take it to the next level and reach more people than Khan Academy could.
Now, a lot of entrepreneurs, especially Gary Vee, because I listen to him a lot, and he said you have to be very, very patient. And then Elon Musk, on the other hand, is like, it's good to be patient, but why not do something, try to figure out something right now instead of wait 10 years. Now, what's kind of your stance of being patient and finding solutions as fast as possible?
So I'm currently going down the Elon Musk route, and I'm in pain every day. Like I'm always at my like stress. Like it's like, dude, imagine working out and you're doing bench presses or like bicep curls. Imagine like you're always like, most people say 10 is their limit. Every day I'm like doing 10, 11, 12. So I'm increasing the limit every single day. Someone might stay at 10 for like 1 month, and then they go to 11 reps, and then they stay at 11 reps for a month. I'm increasing the amount of repetitions every single day, and I'm pushing myself to the limit every single day. And it's painful, it's stressful, and I'm in pain every day. And you could see Elon Musk, like he's always like tired. He always has bags under his eyes, and I think he's doing the exact same thing. He's pushing himself to the limit every single day. Now, I'm pretty sure Gary Vee is also pushing his limit as well, probably not as much, but he's taking it more slow and steady, but he's definitely moving very, very fast. I think the patient advice, that's his advice to like everyday people. Everyday people just like, for example, that 6-month process, I was watching Gary Vee every day just to keep me motivated. And I was like, I need to be patient. I need to be patient. And patience is what got me through that 6-month period. So that's sort of my perspective on both ends.
Now, how do you work faster? Do you kind of have some sort of mechanism that you have a closed feedback loop? Because I feel you can get very comfortable being patient, working 3 months at a time. Be like, you know what, if this doesn't work, I can figure something out. But if you want to work fast, maybe in about 1 month, you kind of have a close feedback loop where if things aren't progressing down to some sort of metric that you're analyzing or measuring, then it's time to change something. Do you kind of have that in play?
So one, on how I move so fast. For example, every week I have 3 hours of team meetings. So I have like 20 employees, like 23 now, and there's like 6 sectors. So I do half an hour meetings of 6 different sectors, and it's exhausting. So what I'm going to put in, like rather than sort of putting in 3 hours a week, I can maybe sort of take 6 hours, build a system where all my managers can handle each one of their meetings, and they could report to me, and I could do one 30-minute meeting with all the managers. So building that system up and figuring that out, that might take me 3 steps back, but I'm going to be then able to take 5 steps forward. So
Mm.
I'm always taking 3 steps back, 5 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward. I'm always taking step backs. Like with the studying, I didn't need to put a lot of money into studying.com. I didn't need to give up 8 months of my life and go to America. Like I was early in the guru space, and I could have made a lot of money because there was no one else in the guru space. I was like one of the few dropshippers teaching on YouTube, but I'm always taking multiple step backs, and that's sort of how I move so fast.
Do you, I feel like,
Ironically, by taking a step back.
no, yeah, I mean, as long as you kind of see that metric, but do you sometimes say like every Sunday or every month, you kind of look back at what your progress is and you say, okay, maybe I am progressing here.
So every day, I've got a daily sort of checklist. This is sort of something I fill out every single day. It's a daily planner. And every day, my goal is to achieve 5 things. And obviously, over time, these 5 things become more difficult, more high sort of mental required tasks. But every day, all I want to do is complete 5 things. And I have this wall map calendar, which I learned from Sam Ovens, where I sort of write what I do every single day the next morning. So this morning, I write what I did yesterday. And my goal is to sort of, my initial goal was try to get each month doing more and more tasks. But I found it becoming more and more impossible because when I first started, for example, sending some file, exporting and sending it to a team member, that was worth one task. But now I don't even do that because I have a team that does it for me.
Mm-hmm.
And the one task I might do is building out a sort of file management system for my company to use. So like, it's impossible to sort of do the same amount of things I did. But my goal is just to do 5 things every day. And worst comes to worst, every single day, I just need to do one thing that just puts me 1 step forward.
Yeah, because I kind of struggle in this sense where I try to do 5 things a day as well. But when I think or when I look back a month or a week about what I did, I was like, okay, the things that I'm doing, is it really moving the needle? Am I working in the business instead of on the business? And that's something that I think a lot of entrepreneurs kind of struggle with because they can have a daily routine of just having their 5 tasks a day, right? And they can be very comfortable with it. But in the end, maybe they're not moving the needle, and there has to be some sort of metric, some sort of tool that they can use. Of course, you have that sheet that you use to kind of tell if you're progressing or not. And I think that's very important to kind of study yourself in that sense, you know?
One more thing to add, big tip that helped me a lot. Work days and project days. This is something I would highly recommend you. So I have work days where I go ahead and cram in all my interviews, my student calls, my YouTube videos, and they all go in work days. Project days are completely booked out. Like I cancel the whole day. And in project days, I work on projects that move the needle. So when I first started, it was like 3 work days, 3 project days, and I took Sundays off. Now I have only 2 work days and 4 project days. And hopefully I can get it down to 1 work day and 6 project days, where every day I just focus on big picture things. Now these 2 days are really packed. Monday and Wednesdays are really packed, where by the end of it, I'm exhausted, I'm dead. Because it's just constant meetings back and forth, constant interviews, constant YouTube videos, and it's constantly outputting high energy for the whole day. And by the end of it, I'm gone. But hopefully I can build systems where I wouldn't have to be filming as many videos. I wouldn't have to be doing as many meetings, and those could be automated, and I could sort of cram it all in one day. But
For
project days,
sure.
that's what I highly recommend.
Oh yeah, it's kind of having like your own internal incubator to see what moves the needle or not. Now, going back to your model, it's very very difficult, I think, because you're the middleman, right? You have the educator, you have the content, and of course you need people to fill in the pipes to create that content, unless you have a team to doing that for you. And of course, you need the students. Not only that, but you need to have the web developers to create the whole experience, the whole website. And that's three major things that I just kind of stated. What's one thing that you're working on now, and what's the biggest challenge so far?
Ooh, let me see. Right now, like recently, I've broke up. Let me first start by sharing what I've recently, the challenges I took, like overcame. It's been like, dude, it's been a long month, but I'm happy because I've overcome a lot of challenges. One bottleneck was the sales team and sales rep. I wasn't able to sort of get good set. Like I recently hired a new sales rep that's doing amazing. Two, getting my own membership portal and like transitioning all the students from. That was like, how the hell do I find a developer? How do I build it up from scratch? How do I transition all the students over? That was something that I had to sort of overcome. And thirdly, how do I build a system where I'm able to go ahead and constantly put more content into the course, as well as keep updating the course portal itself? And like, how do I have that just happen on its own? And that was something I've overcome. So now I'm able to breathe. Now I'm sort of thinking my next move. So I think my current next move that I really want to figure out is team meetings. One, I want to somehow implement daily huddles for all my 20 employees, where sort of managers can maybe have their own daily huddles with their own sectors, and somehow get that 3 hour, get myself out of that 3 hour, and all I have to do is spend maybe a 30-minute to 60-minute per week, rather than 3 hours just talking to the managers, rather than talking to everyone in the team. So that's my next challenge, figuring out this team sort of meeting situation, and how to sort of really get everyone on the same page, and how to efficiently do team meetings and team huddles.
Mhm. So, do you have a burn through rate? Because I feel this is very capital intensive here. I don't know if you have investors here. Of course, you're probably using your own money, and it can be kind of scary because all that work that you've done building up these businesses with e-commerce and drop shipping, you know, I don't know if you've made profit yet, of course, with this new project, but do you have a burn through rate as of this moment?
Got it. So one, what I learned from dropshipping is leveraging virtual assistants. So my 20 employees, majority of them are virtual assistants. So majority of them are on full-time salary, anywhere from 300 USD all the way up to 600 USD. I have someone that I might be paying 1,200 USD a month. So on an average month, I'm probably paying around maybe $5,000 to $10,000 in salary. So it's actually
Mhm.
not too much of a burn through rate. And then, I've been saving up cash like crazy over the last 3 years, and I've been able to make big moves such as investing in studying.com. But other than that, I haven't done any big crazy moves. I haven't bought an office. I haven't bought a house. I don't want to get it, like, I don't plan to get into real estate. And that's like a whole nother topic. But yeah, I don't really have, besides the 5 to 10K per month in salary, I actually don't have that. That's actually a big burn through rate for most people, but like that's my burn through rate.
Oh wow! So even the web developers itself isn't as expensive. I thought it's gonna be tens of
Exactly.
thousands of
It
dollars.
took me a it took me a long time to find my developer. Went through so many applications, but you can find a good developer anywhere from like 500 to 1,000 USD a month from India, Philippines, Mexico. Those would be the countries I recommend people look into.
So in such a massive project here, I mean, is it fair to say that you're gonna complete everything, then launch it, or you're gonna have some sort of beta program to really test it out? Maybe have that lean startup thing because, of course, you have a fantastic idea. You're very enthusiastic about it, but the market is the market. And do you have a way to test all this out before you build the whole thing entirely and for it to potentially flop? So do you kind of have that lean startup method to see if it's really going to work?
So one, I've actually already launched the portal. Well, it's in beta phase.
Hmm.
So we actually went ahead and transitioned like 160 students over to the new portal. Probably like 20 to 50 students are actively using the new portal. And guess what? It was bad. There was bugs left and right.
Oh.
But guess what? By launching it, I was like, there was a fire lit under my ass to get all the bugs fixed as soon as possible. I was like, I was talking to my developer, I was talking to the team, and we're trying to get everything done. Every time there's a bug, we try to fix it as soon as possible. And I don't think I could get this speed if I try to perfect it first and then launch it. And I most likely wouldn't be able to catch all the bugs.
Oh, for sure. I think it's good to have that in that sense. So do you feel any burnout whatsoever as an entrepreneur? Like do you have a way to escape maybe for a moment or two of what you're doing here and kind of regenerate?
So the answer is yes. I get burnt out all the freaking time. Now, like as you can tell, like I'm saying like a bunch of unconventional things. Like I don't know why other entrepreneurs don't talk about burnout, or like they act like they don't go through it, or maybe they don't even know what burnout is. But my definition of burnout is like when I get to a state where I wake up and I literally can't, like I don't want to do work. Like I'm scared to like get on my laptop, and I'm so unmotivated. I just don't want to do anything. That's sort of my definition of burnout. The things I found help the most is one, every Sunday, I try to do a random activity, like get out the house and do something new. Two, this is something I need to get better at and I've struggled to, but every 3 months, you need to go on a holiday. You need to get out of your town. You need to get out of your environment, get out of your sort of home, your office, and sort of get into a new environment. And three, routine. At my peak, I was waking up at 7:30 every single day, no matter what. And then as things started working, I would wake up at 7:30 most of the time. And then some days I'd sleep in if I had a late night. And maybe I'll have like at most I'd have like 3 to 4 days of consistent wake up times. And that was the most I would have. Back then I went through like 90 days. And then for some reason, when I broke it and I was never able to get another run. So recently in the last sort of 3 weeks now, 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, I've been back in routine for 2 to 3 whole weeks. And things have been getting really good. Like I'm starting to get motivated. Routine is starting to come in and things are starting to happen. But like, let me tell you, the first week and a half was tough. Like waking up at 7:30 when I slept at like 1 a.m., waking up at 7:30 when I just didn't feel like getting out of bed. Maybe like one day I just had something that was like a tough night and it was just a shitty day and I wanted to sleep in tomorrow to recover, but I forced myself to wake up at 7:30. After that week and a half, it was easy. So I think it's still going to be tough for at least 30 days, but if you can wake up at the same time for 30 days, you're going to get a pretty solid 90-day run. And then at the end of the 90-day run, you're most likely going to get burnt out where you're so on autopilot where you're getting shit done every single day, but you just hate life. You're just like, why am I doing this? Why do I not feel happy? And that happens after at the end of 90 days. And that's when you sort of need to take a break. So like what I'm saying is I'm so self-aware. I'm trying to observe what happens, like how I get into burnout, how do I get out of burnout? And like all those things come with experience and just having gone through it. But that's the perfect formula I've sort of cracked at the moment. But it's always going to pivot.
Yeah, I was going to say, as long as you're very, very consistent, it's very important. But after a period of time, as you become super, super consistent, you're going to feel like you're in a trap, creating your own little 9 to 5 hellhole, whatever you want to call it, right? And I don't know, you can just start to feel jittery and whatnot. And of course, you have to break that habit or add a new element to the mix. Like you said, take a holiday after 3 months or change your routine or some sort. I feel like entrepreneurship nowadays is kind of like a sport, and you really need to treat yourself right to work optimally.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like you literally just like said what I like figured out. Like you totally understand. You understand the power of routine. You understand as well that at the end of that routine, you start digging yourself this sort of 9 to 5 hellhole. So you totally understand what I'm saying. I guess, do you have any tips or like what pivots would you add to that routine?
Man, I don't know, man. I just literally changed study spots, and that's what it was. And like I said, the 5 tasks I had were the same 5 tasks I had every day. Because what I do really is just work on the podcast, create clips, hit up people for the podcast. And I realized I asked myself, I didn't know what my actual why was and what was moving the needle, and that's what really frustrated me, because I was working every day on this, and I didn't know what was moving the needle, and that made me kind of nervous and not unmotivated, but I had to figure out something, at least add one task or eliminate one task and add another one to see, okay, what is really moving the needle here that will make me a lot more satisfied. And that's what really changed it. Just changing the task and changing perspective, and not just work on the same thing every single day, because at the end of the day, we're only human.
Exactly. And if I was in your situation during my project days, I'll be figuring how do I automate outreach? How do I automate scheduling? How do I automate finding interesting people? How do I hire people? Learn how to hire people? How do I do branding? How do I brand my podcast better? These are all different things that'll be moving the needle. And I think I got this from like just watching a lot of like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and just looking at these super successful people, listening to all their interviews, reading all their books, and I was like, damn, I need to think much bigger. And that's
Mm-hmm.
sort of why I know what my next steps are to sort of take this to the next level. I'm always trying to think 10 steps ahead so that I have like my mind can subconsciously work on that problem.
Yeah, to add on to that, this might be somewhat controversial, but like you said, studying really successful entrepreneurs that are doing very unordinary things, right? And of course, there's a bunch of YouTubers, a bunch of influencers doing kind of your generic, say, social media marketing agency, e-commerce, drop shipping. And I'm not saying that's bad. If you're making money and you're happy, that's totally fine. But if you work on something that's unexploited, for example, Elon Musk with SpaceX and Jeff Bezos was doing at Amazon. Uh, you could look at all these high level entrepreneurs in our lifetime or in history that done unorthodox things. Study them because they're not making YouTube videos on this, and it's not really. You can kind of mimic their model, but you can't really copy their business because what they're doing is so unique. And if you study high end entrepreneurs and kind of model that, I think that's very beneficial, because of course you can go on YouTube and learn what other people are doing within your realm. But if you study the successful entrepreneurs, they have a way of thinking, a system, a model that's totally different that can get you to the next level.
Exactly. Like, for example, what I was going to say was like, don't do what everyone's doing. Like, for example, my course, like, who the hell has their own membership portal? Who the hell would invest into studying.com for their course? Like, my course is a multi-varianted course. So what that means is what most people do when you see a course, it's like product research, and they show you a video of themselves doing product research once. But what if you're in like a different country, AliExpress looks different, Facebook looks different, or something is off? Like, what if you like there's always a situation where you watch them do it, but for some reason you can't do the same thing. So what I did was for product research, I would have 5 videos of me doing the same strategy 5 different times with 5 different students all over the world. So what on top of that, all my sort of one-on-one calls I would do, I would actually document those and sort of throw it back into the course. So every single call I did, every single sort of master group call I did was actually fueling more content into the course. As there was more content in the course, more students got results. As more students got results, more students joined the course. As more students joined the course, I got to go ahead and do more sort of group calls and answer more unique questions. And as I answer more unique questions, the course got bigger. So I created the Amazon flywheel effect, where every single student actually made the course better, which actually brought in more students, which actually went ahead and made the course even better, which attracted more students.
So you want to create a snowball effect here, right? That's the ultimate goal.
Exactly.
Definitely feel that. And I feel like, yeah, what you're doing here is a very, 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 very ambitious project. Something that I haven't really heard about, or like I haven't really spoken to entrepreneurs to think at this sort of level, and I think it's very, very important to kind of hear this, to have a different perspective on what sort of projects people are working on. Uh, is it fair to say, like, do you have some sort of time frame or an expected deadline to when you're going to officially launch this?
So one, the website's already up. Two, people can sort of join now in the beta program, as well as they can get the previous program. Like I had all my course on ClickFunnels, and I was unhappy because I couldn't go ahead and create like a group chat for students. I couldn't add music to the portal. I couldn't create a cool login experience. I couldn't create an AI, sort of like a AI sort of customer service bot. I'll add all these different ideas. I couldn't add in a leaderboard. My new membership portal has a freaking leaderboard where every time
Mm-hmm.
someone watches a video, they gain experience and they can level up. So everyone's just watching as many videos as they can, using the course as much as they can to level up because they see this cool leaderboard. So I wanted to gamify the experience. And like that's all live right now. Studying.com, I want to build a nice sort of official website. I think my developer is going to get that done on the 12th of December. So when people go to studying.com, it would actually go to a website. Right now, if you go to it before 2020 December 12th, it redirects you to either one of my funnels or my new membership portal. But after the 12th of December, hopefully when you guys search studying.com, it will go to a nice website showing the company's value, the mission, and all the people we've helped, and the ton of video testimonials that we have all over the world.
Got it. And just going back to your burn rate, are any of do you still do e-commerce and drop shipping, and any of those businesses kind of still fueling, some capital to what your project is now?
Got it. So one, Music Chest, we actually still own that. The Music Chest company, that they actually gave it to me because like they're sort of doing like this cool car sharing business. They gave me the Music Chest company, and that's sort of what I want. It's like an incubator for new employees. They can train through Music Chest. 2, keeps me in the game, keeps me sort of educated on e-commerce. And 3, it's like a cool brand to build up. I also work on this other company called Bomb and Company. That's sort of Vince's company, the knives, the pocket knives I was talking about. I sort of work with him on that. Dropshipping, I sometimes, launch a dropshipping series, launch a store, do a cool YouTube series to show people, hey, I still can do it. But the main sort of cash flow comes from sort of the education company and sort of all the students coming in. And obviously like YouTube revenue, those branded stores, the one-off dropshipping stores, affiliates, they all sort of add up as well.
Okay, so you're not just putting all your eggs, or you're not just working on one thing. You're still focusing on other projects as well.
I'd say my main focus is the education company.
No, yeah, I'm saying like you're still putting some focus, allocating some of your time to other things as well.
Exactly, and most of it is automated.
Oh yeah, I think that once you get to that point, you can really just devote your time to what's really important or what really intrigues you at the end of the day. That's the ultimate goal,
Exactly.
I think.
And everything should feed into the bigger picture. Like all these e-commerce, like these are sort of case studies to show that, hey, e-commerce can change your life. So like everything I do, every side business I pick up has to somehow feed into the main goal.
So Andy, I think we had a really cool, dope talk here. So if people want to learn more about studying.com, about you, about e-commerce, dropshipping, where can they find out? Where can they hit you up?
Got it. So one, studying.com. I'm really proud of the domain. This is the first time I sort of revealed it. If you want to learn more, go to studying.com. That sounds pretty cool. And my Instagram, Andy Qmai, ANDYQMAI. That's my Instagram. I'm pretty active on that. Me and my team answer every single DM. We answer all our comments, and I strive to post value every single 1 or 2 weeks. I don't post much because I don't focus on Instagram, but every post I try to give value. So I highly recommend that. If you have any question, DM me because I reply to every single DM.
Got it. So yeah, I'll put that in the show notes if anyone wants to DM you or just curious about study.com. I think it's gonna be very interesting, Andy. So once again, I really do appreciate your time here. It was really fun.
Likewise, Ryan. Great interview. I want to compliment you, like the questions you've asked, how you were able to flow them, how you were able to listen, how you were able to do callbacks, how you were able to make the conversation flow really naturally. And it wasn't sort of like a scripted sort of thing. You were able to sort of know the next question to ask based on the answers and the way you've listened. Great interview. I want to compliment you on that. Great stuff. And I really appreciate you having me on.
Anytime, man. And yeah, I try to make this a conversation rather than just an interview, a standard interview. So I think it's really fun to have it that way.
100%. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Andy.